Hello and welcome. I am Joe Crazy, and today we're cooking up something fierce with this HeroScape Age of Annihilation Vanguard Edition. So this is terrain that I already own, but this is the exact amount of terrain you would be getting with the HeroScape Age of Annihilation Vanguard Edition. I do have 3D printed Takala jungle, as well as original jungle bushes, and this is my custom castle walls that would be coming with the Vanguard Edition. So right here I just have two sets. I have two sets of Rise of the Valkyrie ruins, and I have some custom terrain as well that I'll be adding to this Vanguard Edition. So what I want to do today is head over to VirtualScape, and we're going to work on building a map using these terrain pieces. And then we'll come back, build the map, and take a look at what it looks like, and see maybe if it's something that you guys would be interested in playing yourself. And I'd love to see your renditions of what Age of Annihilation maps could be built with this amount of terrain. And you can see here, there is a lot of terrain to play with. And I don't think that I could technically use everything for what I want to build, because I'm going to be building on this countertop, and I don't have a lot of room. So I don't think I want to build something too big. But we're gonna head over to VirtualScape and see what we can build. All right, so we are in front of VirtualScape. I got everything that I need for the Age of Annihilation Vanguard Edition plugged in to my collection, which I can save right in here. So I have my available material here. I even put in some of the glyphs. Let's take a look at what kind of map we want to build. Now I wanna go for something a bit competitive, but also fun. Now, like I showed you before, I don't have anything close to how awesome those castle walls, those, what are they called? Laurel walls? Well, the fantastic looking walls that Vanguard Edition offers, I don't have those. But we have the jungle trees and we have all the terrain. So we're going to have to work around the walls, but that's okay. So with the material that I have currently, let's put some stuff on the board and we'll see what we can make. Now, usually when it comes to competitive games that I've seen from ScapeCon, and if you look at the ARV on HeroScapers.com, and some of the rulings that they have with making competitive maps, we don't want to go anything further up to 4 layers. So based on this right here, so this means level 1 in the bottom right corner, which I know you won't be able to see, it's very tiny. But if we go up a layer, then I can put in one more layer, up a layer, one more, and right here, one more. Right here will be our 4th layer. So when we go to 3D mode, it only goes up like this. So we have the layer 1, 2, 3, and 4 right here. So this is the most we're getting out of height, which is fine. That doesn't mean that we're diminishing ourselves from the terrain at all, but it just makes things a little bit more fair and fun. I don't want to build with everything because I don't need to, if that makes sense, to make a map for what table that I have. I have limited space and limited time. So I don't want to build and use everything I have, and then guess what? I also, yes, it would be fun to use it all to build up, and up, or expand it, but I don't have a lot of space nor the time, so when I take it down, I don't want to spend an hour doing it. I want to spend about 15 to 20 minutes. So that is why I'm not using every single piece. We're just using the allocated amount of terrain that we do have. So right now that we have our basic shape that I want, I'm going to look at start zones. Now, luckily for VirtualScape, we can just put down some start zones, and so I'm going to just slide them across here. That should be plenty of space. 24 is 3 layers. 3 layers width. Yeah, that's our start zones. That makes it 24 spaces each. Even though the armies that I've brought from home and from my bigger collection are 360 points, and they're based off of 18 space start zones. But I want to build a map that I think majority of players can play and can go download on HeroScapers.com. Once I'm finished with this, if you're interested, you can download it yourself. So we're going to use 24 spaces. So from here, I want to see how long of a map do I want to build. And before I go forward, I'm going to go measure the table because I forgot to do that. All right, so I checked the table length, the countertop space that I have. And because VirtualScape works in centimeters, it is going to be 102 centimeters is the max that we're building the map on. So I don't want to make it exactly 102 centimeters because that goes right to the edge of the table, the counter. And so I want to have space for us to put cards in front of them, and it'll still be a decent map. So to make sure that we have enough space, because right now we're looking at 82 centimeters here, I'm going to count the spaces in between. I'm just going to put some extra hexes down so it's easier to count. I'm going to count the spaces in between. Now, I've done some research with using playing on the ARV maps, and I've noticed that the shortest map I've ever seen between start zones is 11 tiles. I think 15 might be the most that I've ever seen. So I'm going to use that as a basis. I know we're already accounting for the 3 tile width start zones. So let's see. All right, we don't count the start zone. I just count in between. So between the red and the blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 13 in between. Now, since it's an odd number and not an even number, sometimes even numbers might be harder to work with, especially when placing glyphs down, and working with an odd number, it might be easier due to the placement of glyphs. So just for an example, if I wanted to place a glyph down in between, majority of the time, we want to put them in locations that it is fair for everyone, and so no one's getting the glyph on their first turn, unless their ability accounts that they have 10 movement, and then we can't account for that. So majority, we want to make sure that it's about 7 spaces away from each start zone. So that's where I think 13 will come in play. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's actually perfect. So where the glyphs are. Now I'm gonna delete those glyphs for now, but 13 looks like the best number that we have. So working with what we have and where their start zones are, I think that just worked out the best it can right now. And I think we can fill those in with grass. And what's fun about VirtualScape is that if I make a mistake, I can just go to the layer that I want and then correct it very, very easily as well. Oh, shoot. We got the jungle too. That I can do here. I can put the jungle trees. I'll use the 15 ones, because the custom ones I use, I think I measured it to be 15 tiles high. So I can use 2 of them here. So if we look at this right now, yep, they're bending in. See, I'm not getting that hill shape yet. We're still got to form that. But I do like the sand on the sides a lot. All right, so let's work on that center a bit more. Also, too, because of the jungle, go back down the list layer, I might want to switch out some of these here. I don't know if I want to put these in every corner. We'll take a look and see what that looks like. Because when we don't have the luxury in HeroScape currently to have start zones that I can put down on the map using wound markers or these little like translucent tabs per se. So I want to make, when I make the map, I can go, okay, anything behind this grass tile here. And so you can go, okay, oh, right behind the grass tile, and then I can visually make a straight line so I can see what I'm telling the person. They can see and understand where the start zone is. So by putting this here, at least it's an indication of you knowing, oh, okay, that's where that goes. So same over here. So that might be pretty cool. I like that. I try to make it where the height isn't the biggest problem. I try to make that this area feels more free roam, where I feel like that if I go for the glyph, that is my choice. I'm not going to be punished for making that choice. Or if I go on the height, it's not ultimate victory because the height advantage is obviously better than the glyph is. Obviously having, let's say, Gerda on one and Astrid on the other, and if by chance that the person on the height and Astrid, which for players that don't know, Astrid will give you a +1 to all attacks for your entire army. So if you have height advantage as well as Astrid, you're attacking down with double the attack that you normally would have. So making these sides is actually extremely disadvantaged. So it kind of forces one player, then the other player, to really force themselves onto the center here. Because even with having Gerda, and for the players that don't know, Gerda gives you extra defense. So if you're being attacked when you have height advantage, which will give you an extra defense if you're being attacked, plus Gerda, that's 2 extra defense. And if by chance you're playing with Raylan, which Rise of the Valkyrie Raylan gives you a +2 defense from a range of 4, that is 4 extra defense that you're rolling when you're on that height advantage. And obviously you can't account for everything, so I don't know if I want to make it that high, or find a way to make it where maybe I can spread the grass or the sand out, see what that looks like. So making that the height advantage being very wide, giving this diamond shape. So now I'm getting the bit of the waterfall that I would want on all over, in more locations than I would expect. So it even makes it a little bit more symmetrical. It's a bit narrow here. So if I had to control the height advantage, I'd have to put one here, and I'd have to put 2 players here. So I'd have to have, if I was blue, I'd have to worry about red taking control of these 3 spaces here. I just realized that I have all of these ruins and I don't have spaces for the ruins. So let's worry about doing things like that. So that's interesting, because now the start zone is pretty much fully protected. Really difficult to have anything. So if anything, why don't we adjust this and shift this? See how that looks. It still blocks quite a bit. But at least all of this area would be used in some capacity, and moving units around. Kind of like splitting the group up, and hiding from this height advantage too. They can kind of sneak. They could run up here on the side. They go 1, 2, and then on the next turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and run for the glyph. So that is very possible. Where this is a bit more open, there's not much cover, but they have cover on this side. So what's forcing the blue player to go this way? Not much. So if anything, let's see if there's a way for us to change that. And I'm gonna see if I can use some of our rock tiles and do some interesting things. So this is an interesting dilemma for our rocks, where now it is much easier by one hex to have a player, like for example, even Raylan or a dragon, that come here and blast units. For example, I think it's Nilfhelm. Nilfhelm has a range of 5 with the ice shards and a move of 6, making that 11. Essential on the first turn. So on the first turn, obviously, the dragon can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very easily, and then have a range of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So can't attack anything, but this could just stand there the entire game and blast anything that's like over here, and it would be very, not difficult, but it would be pretty simple, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not necessarily, because if the dragon was here and there were players with a range of, what is this, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so range of 5. The dragon can stand here, and a player over here with a range of 6, for example, not a stinger, let's say a Mara warrior, I believe has a range of 6, can sit here and shoot the dragon. The dragon can't shoot them. Laurel Falls. For some reason, that fits in my head. I don't know. Jeremy or Ryan, you guys can correct me with that. Laurel Falls sounds pretty cool to me, especially when there's a bunch of waterfalls and we're using walls that's supposed to be lol. So let's go build this map. Alright, so this is the map I came up with. It's called Laurel Falls. And we did a couple changes here with the ruins. And I said I wanted to take some of the custom ruins I had and add them to the map, because we could use the default Rise of the Valkyrie walls for everything here. But I think adding some of the custom walls, because of how different and how interchangeable that the new the new Vanguard edition walls will be adding to HeroScape, using some of the custom terrain that I have here will really showcase some of the different angles that we can achieve for our maps. So I have some of these mega blocks ruins in the center here, as well as some of the these custom ruins here, which I believe came with Confrontation was the game that they came from. Having the height advantage center extend to this one hex changes so much. So the odds for a player for these stingers to attack this, not that they'll be attacking adjacent anyway since they have range, but assuming that they do not have the range right now, having 2 of them come up to the 1 height advantage will give the height advantage, but the disadvantage of being able to have teammates help him out. So this section of the map is very very interesting for this dynamic here. So this is obviously going to be good for the height advantage player, but also a disadvantage because more units from the opposing team will be coming up to attack that one player on height advantage to kind of thwart their plans and be able to move up. And obviously once you move up, it's going to be more difficult, but assuming that you have other players and other characters that will come around, and even having a unit on the side here will be able to thwart the plans of the player that's on height advantage. So please let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys do with the Age of Annihilation terrain. There is a lot here. And like I said, if you have 2 sets of Rise of the Valkyrie ruins, you can use those. If by chance you don't happen to have any of custom terrain cover. But hopefully, you know, if you do have jungle terrain, please put yourself together a nice Vanguard fan edition and play with what you can build. I think it will be a really good thing for all of us to take a chance and actually play with what you would technically be getting with the Vanguard edition. So if you haven't already, please go fund this. Put in your pledge today. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it. Hit that notification bell and please consider subscribing. And once again, I am not crazy. I'm Joe Crazy. Peace.